Barbara is shown here in a so-called simulator, and it is used with a mouse. This way it is easier for you to see which buttons I will press. But on the real device, Barbara is much more easier to use. In the App Store, Barbara is advertised with the subtitle for mixed meters. So this means that it is easy to make Barbara play bars with differing time signatures. And now I'm going to show how this is done. So with this new button, I can specify a new sequence of bars. And for instance, if I press this 4/4 button 4 times, it means that I want the metronome to play the bar 4 times. And then I press this 2/8 button, so it will play a 2/8 bar, and with this button I can make it play 3/8 bar and again 2 4/4 bars. And when I press this done button and the play button, it starts playing. If I would not be satisfied with these bars, I could modify this sequence of bars with this edit button. And for instance, if I would like to get rid of this 3/8 bar, I would first move this small triangle here, and then I would use this erase button to take out that bar. And in that place I could put, for instance, a couple of 5/8 bars. And again, done and play. So pressing these buttons, it's called programming. So Barbara is a programmable metronome. Some people are afraid when they hear the word programming, but this is nothing like computer programming. But although Barbara is a programmable metronome, it can also be used as a traditional metronome. For instance, if I would like to play 4/4 rhythm, then I would just specify a single 4/4 bar and press the done button and press the repeat button. And if I would like it to play 3/4 bars, I would press this button and done button, and it would be, oh sorry, I have to always press this repeat button to make it repeat the sequence there. And if I would like it to just play a sound without any emphasis, I could use these 1/4 bars here. For instance, if I would use this and press the done button and repeat button, then it would be giving a more monotonous sound. And of course, there are these two buttons there. This is the play button and this is a repeat button, and also if there would be a longer sequence here visible, it could be repeated as long as the stop button is pressed. Let's study a little bit more those buttons that can be found through this new button. So these are called bar buttons, and the general rule is that if you press a button once, then the bar emerges to the screen, and you can erase bar with this other button. But then if you would like to have many of these bars, or you would like to have a bar repeated many times, then one thing you can do is that you can do so-called long press like this, and then you will see this kind of view where you can say the number of repeats by typing these numbers. And now this bar would be repeated 20 times. There are actually many pages here, so that this is the first page of bar buttons, and this page contains bars that have either number 4 or number 8 as the lower number. But if you scroll, you can find more bar buttons, and you can find buttons with which you can do, for instance, repeats, or you can program rests. And if you scroll further, you can find this page in which the bar buttons are marked with a darker color. And this means that these bar buttons, they produce different metronome sounds. So for instance, if I would add here, before this, I would add here 4 of these. Let's see what happens. So sometimes musicians would like to have some kind of starting beats before they start to play. So this can be done with these dark colored buttons. We say that these buttons, they produce secondary sounds, and the other buttons produce your primary sounds. And you could even add, let's add one more thing there. So there is this 4th page here. So let's add one more thing there, like this. So now we get even more starting beats. So there are all these buttons that can be either selected as dark colors buttons or light colored buttons, and different sounds can be produced. And here on this 4th page we have also these kinds of repeat buttons, and we have these tempo buttons. So let's take a look at what we can do with these buttons then. So with these we can specify a tempo for a sequence of bars. So I will erase all these and let's try something else. So let's put there something simple like 2 4/4 bars and 2 3/4 bars. And now let's do so that we set the tempo for this. So we could set the tempo like 120, and let's add something more there. So we could add some repeats, and we can do those repeats with these buttons like this and this, and let's try this one. So this would mean that we are going to play in tempo 120, and then we are going to repeat these 2 bars 3 times. So let's see what happens. So this sequence was repeated 3 times, so, and both of these bars were played twice. And let's see what more we can do with the tempo. So we have here a button with which we can decrease the tempo and other button with which we can increase the tempo. So let's do so that we add tempo by 20 after the 2 bars are played. So you can see that the tempo was increased 3 times altogether, but the final tempo was never used because enough repeats were done. So if some musician would like to practice this way, playing some bars and increase the tempo, perhaps there should be also these start beats. So let's add the start beats there. There we could add like these, 4 of these, like this. And probably a musician who would like to practice this 3 times, he or she would like to have some silence before he starts each repetition. So we could add here a couple of full rests. Let's see how this works. This metronome, it has built-in demos which would help the musician to learn how to use the metronome. So for instance, if you click this button, lists, you will find these demos. For instance, you can see that the 4/4 bars can be made in different ways. The tempo can be changed. Tempo can be increased in repeats, and you can also do so-called nested repeats, which means that you could use both types of repeat signs and make repeats inside repeats. And there are also some funny things, I think, or they can be considered funny. For instance, there is this Terminator 1 beats. So let's try this. I can press the select, and so it is loaded into the metronome, and I can just start playing it. As you can see, many things can be done with this metronome called Barbara. If you didn't like all the sounds of the metronome, they can be modified by using this info button here. So, I think this is enough for now. I hope you enjoyed this metronome and this video. Thank you for watching, and bye.